We should be able to begin. So, welcome everyone to the week 8 of the 2023 weeklies. This week, our puzzle is particle reconstruction. It is our computation puzzle of the weeklies, which is a first for the weeklies, I think. I don't think there's been other computation puzzles before. And, yeah, in case you haven't noticed, Orthax isn't streaming this week. I'll be doing that for
Zorflex is
y'all.
notoriously anti-computation, where
Yeah,
computation isn't even necessarily do computing, it's just the input isn't known and the output depends on it.
it's just conditional. So if you look at our right-hand side, we have our input, and the input has to match the output in terms of the atoms and the bonds. The proper way to do this puzzle is to change the bonds, but I do not have time for that, so for this stream, I will be just rotating the inputs and outputs because it is kind of effectively the same. There may be minor
By color,
differences.
gauge, and variance, it is the
Yeah,
same.
there is no duplication. It should be fine.
Yeah,
I
there's nothing
noticed.
that can detect differences in colors, so
I also noticed that
it'll
there's
be the same.
no tribonder this week. Interesting. I guess that was decided that y'all don't need a tribonder, which is fair. No
I thought at some
calcification.
time I might
No,
want
damn.
it.
Kind of funny how there's no
I mean, at the point that you just have a
calcification.
bonder and debonder, it's like you just want to keep it as simple as possible, I think, for aesthetics.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, minimalist.
Alright. Well, yeah, so this puzzle you have to try to determine which bond is missing of the 3 possible bonds on the original input and reconstruct that bond for bond in the other chamber. Isolation mode is on in this puzzle, which means that the puzzle requires the product and reagent to be placed in separate chambers. So you can cheat that. People have tried, and it submits because we don't check for it. Because we trust you all not to do that, but since the trick with overlap where you can just throw things over, or throw things like on top of places where you shouldn't, yeah, it works for this too. That's how,
Right,
other
yeah.
than so, hmm?
Right, yeah. You can just put an equilibrium on the left edge of the right chamber and the product on the right edge, and then spin it around into the other chamber, and then it'll just be there.
Yeah. What am I supposed to, is it like this? I don't know.
Yep. You
Yeah, and then
just
drag it off and
drag it
onto.
off, and
Yeah.
then click, drag, add something else to selection, and the input will be in the same chamber.
Congratulations, this is a 3-eye puzzle now. I can't move it. Probably should have
Oh
been smart about where
yeah.
I started with that, though.
Yeah, you've made it harder for yourself, Fist.
Yeah, anyways. That's how it would work. Anyways, this is a 3-eye puzzle. Congrats, everyone. Let's wrap it up.
But in case you needed to use more instructions, let's see how everyone else.
Yeah, the proper way to solve this, you need to use more instructions, and well, for the stream, we'll be starting with in what it says here at 22nd place at 192 instructions and 400 gold, 400 cost. We're going by the metrics is instruction cost, right? I haven't explained that, so here we go. Here's our first solve, which is a good time to start talking about how this is even possible to discern which bonds exist and which ones don't. Is that the debonding pattern would be different for the orientation of the where the bonds originally were. For example, for this one, let me see. If it so happens that this is the original orientation, it would not get debonded immediately, and the entire piece is in 3 atoms.
Right.
Which it
If you
then,
first try to break the bond that is already bonded in this orientation. It's changing how everything works.
Mm-hmm. So how most of these solves, how basically most of these solves will be operating, since you're quite limited in your options of conditionals with only bonders and debonders, is timing differences. By having the atoms go through at different times, you're able to discern if an atom exists, which part it's supposed to be of. You can combine some of those timings to reduce in instructions or reduce in time, but that is the basic gist of it. There are other methods,
Yeah,
I mean, slightly different methods, but they're all based on the
like
same idea.
the only actual information you get is the timing, because you only have one atom you can send through. So
Timing and positions.
yeah, but when it's coming out of the pipe, it's not, the position is always the same.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that you have to transmit the information is always based on timing.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I can do that here, because I think it passes everything through within one tape loop. Yeah, it tries to pass everything through within one tape loop, but on the lower ones I can just count the amount of tape loops before everything goes through, because fractional p for everything below this. Not everything below
everything
this,
below
but not everything below this, just for several solves below this, it's fractional p, so when I was looking through the solves, I could straight up just count the amount of periods to know.
When you have a 1p solution like this one, there's several drop instructions that'll happen on the conduit, and then you can just count which drop instruction does drop an atom.
Yeah. So, and the arms on the other side, on the product side, will react accordingly to those times the atom is dropped. So for example, this one is a 3 atom, so it just stores it on the side until its time has come. Its time has come, its people needs him.
Yeah, we should have set up a P thing in the auto hotkey. That would have been cool.
Yeah, I guess we could, but would that work properly? Since,
all these solutions have rate, I think.
No, some of them don't have constant rate within the 3 products.
Oh, that would make sense. Yeah, it pulls the next input at a different time depending on if it's been completed yet.
Yeah, they don't have constant rate between outputs. That's a thing that happens.
I think you still have something comprehensible, like a P in the steady state, sort of. But yeah.
Yeah, it will, but like it's not gonna be it. The P will be. I guess the P is going to be this. No, it's not going to be. It will not be the same P within all three products. So the information would be sort of useless on those specific solves. So I guess we can count. Yeah, it has unconstant rate. We'll see when it comes to it.
John's wondering about the smallest p. I will perhaps say something scary and say that my p can be changed by only changing cost.
I know exactly what that means.
Yep.
If y'all aren't familiar with instruction solves, you might be able to guess. Alright, well, should we be analyzing this one more? Let's see. So for this orientation, it debonds the Earth off first, and then everything goes in. For this orientation, it debonds the fire off first, which is passed through at a different time than the Earth would have been on the other orientation. And for the last...
5 is the one that drops on conduit, and it looks like it drops 6 times in total, so there's just 6 different timings that it could have.
Yeah. And for the last one, because it never debonds, it just stores the entire thing on the side until its time has come, and it will be passed through the conduit. So that's how this works. In terms of improvements, the improvements will come from combining timings and reusing instructions and using those to your advantage. But this is a good solve. Any solve that has been submitted is a good solve because computation is not easy. It's impressive. And oh yeah, I guess there are notes. I could read those out. I'm not used to them being there. All right. By Pet Redstone Paradox, he says, I kept repeatedly running into an issue where 2 of the 3 test cases were being treated as the same by the machine. That glyph of tranquility, which I assume means equilibrium, yeah, represents the one place where I could get an atom for only 1 test case. Yeah, so I assume this test case is the odd one, is the special case that was done. So yeah, any solve is an impressive solve, so it's nice to see. Speaking of impressive solves though, next up we have at 165 instructions and 270 gold, good old Nightshine, who probably also hasn't opened the game for this puzzle. I don't know, have they? Has he?
Kind of.
Kind of. Oh, you actually have seen the solution run in game this time?
I think the transcendental guy.
The file set that contains the solution has touched games,
Alright.
but the exact tree that I've followed, it has kinda not.
Mm-hmm. So, pistons. They're awfully convenient.
Pistons. I love pistons.
Pistons are awfully convenient when placing glyphs is a pain. So,
Placing glyphs is perfectly fine, but honestly, this solution should have required only 2 glyphs, except for the fact that I needed to figure out how to make the 3rd test case work.
mm-hmm. That makes sense.
But it validates.
What is for you the 3rd test case?
Let me see the the notes.
The current test case is the problem test case, I believe. Would
The
you like
current
me
test
to read
case
the
is-
notes?
Sure, you can read them. It's better in your own tone.
Ahem. What's this nonsense about quarks not existing? Burlo, are you high? Okay. What about gluons? All your metals and elements must be made out of something. Maybe gluons are what the bonds are made out of, if not electromagnetic connectivity, alone whatever funny business is going on with the triplex. And passing bits through that von Neumann bottleneck is insanity. I had to take a step back with a fresh pair of eyes and validate that the one difference I thought I saw was actually there, and that I could take advantage of it. Thank you, Transcendental Guy. Solve programmed in Faded and Omnom Omclone. Omnom would be a fun name for a tool. It's
Yes,
not great, and it
Have you
doesn't
seen Have you seen Disposal in OM Clone, by the
Oh
way?
gosh, it's a modded disposal that has an on it.
If you've ever seen Disposal in OM Clone, it says Om Nom Nom on it.
No cap? I haven't seen that before. Anyways, notes continued. It's not great, and it doesn't have to be. ARM5 catch atoms on cycles 1, 2, 4, 2, 3, 4, and 3, 4, 5 within its looping action, of which ARM5 was the first thing I imagined for the puzzle. Everything else is built around it. The left side ensuring that the gluons go in the right order, and ARM6 putting the footprint in properly depending on the timing. Holy fuck.
Yeah, so same basis as most other solves, but you know, let's check out the other ones. The other rotations.
Yeah. This is the weird one where ARM6 needs to intervene. This is the 1, 2, 4 solve.
Got it, where there's an intermediate gap.
Yeah. This
I see,
is
yeah,
the...
this one it's building the full output. That's nice.
You see what ARM6 is doing when it's doing it?
Yeah. Yeah, it never needs to use the lower bonder on regular cases. It's only the lower bonder for the weird case.
And here's another case. I hopefully I rotated that correctly.
I think you just rotated it back the wrong way.
I did. Alright. Further it goes.
It's the weird case. Durjaja. Durya. Yeah, it probably would have saved some instructions. I realized at some point, maybe I should try, this. And it... Actually, they were both in the same spot when,
I mean...
You see where arm 3...
It makes
can
no
rotate
discernible
the-
difference where you can just do this.
Yeah, this is going to give the visual demonstration, but you can absolutely just rotate an entire chamber to make the output.
Thing
align.
is, it used to be in exactly the same direction when the input was to the right of arm 3. You see where arm 3 rotates it in twice?
Yeah,
That had to be done because in at least one test case,
it would scratch while pivoting.
it uncovered the input and then touched it again. I think it might be this one with the water. No, in at least one of them, though.
If you wanted to force them to be in the same rotation, you could just, do what I just did. And, saying you want them to both be in this rotation.
Wait, no. Rotate that 180.
Have fun.
Rotate the right side 180 degree. Put the portals directly close to each other. That's the way I always imagined it.
Yeah, you don't have to move the portals.
Have to? No.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can both move the portals and rotate the inputs and outputs. However, when you
However I
change
want,
what the
yes.
input is, when you change what the input is, the output has to do a corresponding rotation.
Yeah.
You can't make a different orientation per output. It has to be the same orientation for every output corresponding to what it is on the input.
So it's going to be more convenient if you have them at the same rotation orientation for your own visual tracking purposes. Because it's certainly easier to check that, they match, instead of, they are 60 degrees apart. Actually, it's 120.
I would just make sure that it works for one and then do pairs of rotates on both.
Yeah. Alright. Next up then, we have, I guess, a new submitter to this Weeklies, I think. Next up we have at 160 instructions, Luna.
Oh, Luna
That is
showed
a
up.
close shave.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's favorite deer person.
Martyr of Deer style. Oh wow, that's a nice output chamber.
It is a very simple output chamber. But yeah,
And
if
like
you
obviously
didn't know,
the arm can build the output, but it's a question of how difficult is it, and that seems pretty elegant.
mm-hmm. If y'all
Yeah,
didn't know,
the
by
original
way,
version of this puzzle
Hmm?
the original version of this puzzle had smaller chambers, and this certainly looks like
yeah?
a solve that would have had a chance of fitting in one of those smaller chambers.
Probably. If you just
So would
rearrange
it be
the
a
first chamber
5
a
by
little.
5?
I assume 5 means a diagonal, which that would be yes.
Yeah, it was the next one down. So yeah, 5.
Got it. If it's just a pure hexagon, mine would not fit, but I could take off 2 of the edges and make it fit.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Luna is the person who created Quintessential, which, if you're familiar with Opus modding, is the entire basis of Opus modding. It did very good on the Quintessential stuff. Opus mods are amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, about this solve though, I wonder how many times the ARM4 actually... Does it just program out everything for all 3 test cases, or are there instruction overlaps?
This is 1P.
This is 1P? Alright, yeah. So it kind of just passes
ARM1
everything
only
through
ever
at different
runs
times.
its instructions when it grabs inputs.
Mhm. ARM4 is a clever way of assembling the output though. I don't know if it would be the most instruction efficient.
We gotta look at other orientations to understand like why it does some of what it does.
Yeah, but it sure does look nice. Anyways, and for the up orientation. I think this was the pass it through the fastest one. Yeah, this one's probably
this
what
one
I would
did
call
the first-
test case 1. Pass everything through immediately. Everything else is based off of this particular test solve. So if we rotate it further, I think that's the right direction. This one looks like test case 3.
With the latest drop timings. Yeah, this has very late drop timings. Well, no, the first one we looked at had later.
Did it?
Yeah, because I remember the piston carrying 2 atoms and trying to drop it over the output hole. Like, there's actually
Oh,
an
yeah, this
output
one
or
looks-
a conduit
yeah, this one
conditioner
looks
here because
later.
it can't drop 2 atoms.
Yeah, that one's later. Alright. There might be some overlap between test case 2 and test case 3.
Yeah, basically, once you start fiddling around too much on the left, all the 3 cases go into different places, and you really just have to pick up the pieces and it works.
Mhm.
So I had a really hard time with the speed solve for this because I couldn't figure out what to do with the pieces. Like, I broke it into a bunch of pieces. Couldn't
Now
pick them
what?
back up, but it's really cool to see this working.
I broke it. Now what?
I have parts. They're different. Help.
Bambi's solve was extra impressive. I wonder if it's the same one. There needs to,
What'd you say?
Oh, I was saying, like, so Bambi's speed solve is extra impressive. I wonder if I can, I wonder if it's still the same one as their eventual solve.
Gosh, yeah,
Probably not.
imagine Bambi with an entire week to works for about 12 minutes and then puts it down.
Alrighty, next up in 19th place, at 150 instructions, we have Mad Monkey. Which is Mad Master and Matter Monkey, I think. Is Mad Master here in the VC? No, he isn't. Alright.
This has the exact same title as the first solution Genius 42 sent to me. Just list all the quirks. There's also something Genius 42 wanted me to sneak in during stream, and it is. You push atoms up and down, look the solve over from top to bottom, but it does have a strange charm about it as it is.
Nice.
Yeah.
Also,
Genius
I
is
wonder
words.
if the solve was made to be right to left after the poll. I feel like that's... I feel like that's a thing that happened.
But yeah, it seems like a lot of the solves at this stage are just sort of scripting it out completely. So you detect all the different cases and put them
And then you
together
treat each
sort
one
of on the same
separately.
tape loop. Yeah.
Yeah. For a one-piece solution.
And I think this one's a particularly clear example of that, where it just sort of tests to see if it has a bond in one place, and then tries to send it through, and then tests to see if it has a bond in the next place, and then tries to send it through, and so on.
Yeah. So if we try other rotations, that debonds immediately.
Mad Master confirms
so-
that this has 8 of the 9 possible drops, so there's 1 squeeze.
There's one squeeze of overlap, yeah. You can get away with that in 1P. You can probably get away with a lot in 1P, honestly.
I think my speed solve had only 6 drop times. I did not think of doing it the simplest way. I thought of trying to be too
No wonder
clever
it
for
took
my
you a
own good
while.
right away. I
Biggie's
also stopped trying
optimization
once
brain
Bambi had
kicking
the.
in.
Yeah, once Bambi had the speed solve in, I went back and just contributed to the stream for a bit and then took it up again once the stream was over.
Yeah.
I guess the minimum number of drops would be 4.
To distinguish them?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Because then you
actually,
have.
4 is exactly what Night Shines did. It was a 1P with 4 drops.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And the odd case was when it was 1, 2, 4. Because you could have 1, 2, 3 and 2, 3, 4, which were all convenient, and then 1, 2, 4 was odd one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, people mentioning in the chat how the names of quarks are so cute. They are. Especially when you see people's, interpretations of them in drawings.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cartoonifying subatomic particles is a very human thing to do.
Tops are always right and bottoms look good. I have no idea what that's supposed to mean. With batching, you can get less than 4. I mean, yeah, but we're kind of talking. 4. Can you get less than
that's
4
interesting,
with in terms of instructions? Yeah, you can get less than 4 in terms of instructions if you work with less than 1p as well.
I mean, yeah,
I guess you don't
fractional
need
p
2.
I don't know, we'll see. Oh, I just checked the notes. It says speed solved by Mad Master. Good job, Mad Master. Alright. I think there's one test case we haven't checked. I think we checked that one, and let's check this one. Wait.
If someone had given us a larger conduit, I presume triangle size, it would only 1 drop.
So true.
Ah! There we go.
So yeah, I should mention, just for the sake of people who didn't really follow all the rules early on, putting the output, dropping it onto the output glyph if it's wrong is not allowed.
Yeah.
That's actually banned by the simulator. So you can't just make something, test it, make something else with it, test it again.
Yeah, that's not
Right,
allowed,
yeah.
but,
Or even make the right shape but in the wrong orientation, and then fix the orientation by trying all the 3 possible orientations it could be in.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah, that is a problem worth a few instructions to solve.
Mm-hmm.
Mad Master said he made the orientations the same to, for easier testing. Like I've said before, he could do that. Alright. Next up then, we have in... Text is so tiny. At 18th place with 135 instructions, we have Jason.
Aha!
Every time I see the apostrophe in Jason, I wonder if I should be pronouncing that with a glottal stop.
Jason.
Jason. It just makes sense.
I see 2, 3, 4 drops.
4 drops. Exciting.
Oh no, 5. There are 5 drops.
It is with a stop. I guess I've been pronouncing it correctly in my head.
Oh yeah, Arm 4 sneaks in there.
5 drops.
Yep, there are 5 drops on this, and the timing seems to be for this one to drop, or to get the second, third, and fifth. Yeah, this input uses the second, third, and fifth drop to construct the output. Let's see what the others do. Oh yeah, the notes. The notes are even more helpful than trying to stare at the solve on
All
screen.
right. I assume, yeah. All right. Solving this puzzle was easier than expected. Saving instructions was harder than expected. The left side of my solution deconstructs all reagents by spinning them around the debonder. It then sends the atoms through the conduit in a pattern where they are reconstructed by the right, I assume you mean right side. Left bond missing means second, third, and fifth atom. Right bond missing is first, third, and fourth atom. Top bond missing is third, fourth, and fifth atom. So, left bond missing is this one, which would be sent through as second, third, and fifth. Second, third.
The first drop fails because it's using a size of the conduit conditional where 2 atoms cannot fit through a 1-atom hole.
Yeah. The next one would be right bond missing, which would be first and third and fourth. Second fails because too large. Third and fourth passes through. And the top bond missing would be third, fourth, and
3, 4,
fifth.
5.
Because it fails twice to drop it in because molecule too large. So I guess that's the other conditional you can use for this puzzle is conduit conditionals.
Yeah,
You
you
have
can
bonding
either try to
conditionals
grab
and
something
conduit
that has a
conditionals.
hole bonded, or you can drop something on a hole that won't fit.
Mhm.
That's right, it goes in the square hole.
Why can't you just pick the 2 atoms up vertically and drop them through?
Lift it up tallways.
Yeah.
There's a mod idea for you.
3D
Opus
Opus.
Magnum up pivot.
Opus Magnum up pivot. Oh no.
It's like only useful for conduits. I guess you could also use it to like compress,
You can
like
use it
put
to
a bunch of data on one hex.
You can use it
and
to
then tilt it back.
rotate 120 by 2 pivots. 180 by 2 pivots.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Flip it up, flip it down again on the other side. And also avoid collisions.
Yeah, you could get around a lot in an area puzzle. If you needed to pivot something, you just flip it up out of the page.
I assume
Oh gosh, the
Oh
mod
no,
is actually
3D
gonna have
area.
to-
A waste tower, oh no.
Yeah. The thing is, you have
Imagine
to bring the waste
3D
power back
area.
down to bond to it.
3D area metric first.
Opus Magnum cup stacking competition when?
No.
And,
Alright. Next up, we have in 17th place with the solve named Cycles at 134 instructions and 60 cost. We have Spiritual Shampoo.
So many layers of trolling, goodness. A mini cost solution called Cycles, not yet solved.
The site validates them all anyways, so it doesn't matter. I assume that the solve thing is
Yeah,
just
I was
not
noticing
checked.
that I would be able to get it credit for passing without having solved the game, solved it in game first, which is pretty convenient.
Yeah, the reason for that is because for computation puzzles, it doesn't check because it could be different stats depending
Yeah, it
on
has
which.
to reinstantiate and then reevaluate.
Right. And
Is
so it
this-
just doesn't even check the stuff in the file.
Matt Bachelor says, is this the first time we see using the conjugate to test for single atoms? I don't know if you mean the previous solve or this one, but the previous solve did it as well.
There was one in the other solve earlier than that too.
Yeah,
I think.
it's definitely happened before.
I
But
don't remember.
the
I think it
previous
was
solve
Luna's.
also-
Luna's did that. Yeah, Luna's did that.
Mhm.
So this answers my question of whether anyone did a min cost showcase.
Here you go, here's main cost. Thank you for your contribution, Spiritual Shampoo.
And as Genius brings up, a 7x7, which I believe is like area of the smallest chamber possible.
The area of the smallest chamber possible.
Oh, I see what you
What is the smallest chamber again? Oh,
It's a 7 hex
It's-
chamber, so technically everything fits, but it's not fun.
I mean,
But Jasper says that he has a min area showcase, so probably Jasper's might.
all right, I have overlap on. I mean, you can fit it like this, I guess. Does that work?
Mhm.
You have a half access debonder,
It's
so
half
you couldn't
access
get the
debonder. That's disgusting. But
No, it
with
doesn't even
for-
work. You have to reach the individual atom to move it from the other side of the debonder to the conduit.
Yeah.
Right. It has to be a full access bonder. Or
So,
debonder, I mean.
is it possible then? Because this has to.
There is not a way.
occupy-
No, once you have a
Yeah.
full access debonder, you split the chamber into things that don't fit a triangle.
Yeah.
You can get
So-
minimum area, but you cannot get it in that size of an hexagon.
You can get it at minimum glyph footprint.
Yeah, it would have to be 7 hexes, but not the 7 there.
Otherwise, this
Still,
salt
it's
does
interesting
most of
that you
this.
have 134 instructions at min cost, just because you don't have very many arms to put instructions on.
Why use more? Why use lots of arms when little arms do trick?
Arms are just instruction sinks, SMH.
FMHMH. In terms of how this solves works, though, it
You know, if Shampoo wanted to really try hard, if Shampoo wanted to really try hard, the instruction secondary, Arm 1 could reset with a single instruction to the other side and take the entire second tape loop to get back around.
oh no.
That's one of the GI techs.
It
You
is.
desync the arm that grabs input, and so it takes another tape loop before it gets back to grabbing another input. Nothing crashes if there aren't atoms.
Oh boy.
But I guess Spiritual Shampoo was thinking about cycles.
Perhaps the secondaries with cycles all along.
Oh, you're right, John. It would grab on the debonder there. It's more complicated than what I said, sad.
Oh wait, this is the first test case we saw. I think. Yeah, this is the other one where it just passes through everything without ever having a more than one atom molecule on top of the conduit. So I'm assuming this would be test case 1. Test case 1 is dropping single atoms on the conduit. Test case 2 is dropping 2 atom molecules on the conduit. Test case 3 is dropping 3 atom molecules on the conduit. Were they solved in that order? Probably not. But it's a good way to
I was going to say, if you're going to claim that any individual, if you're going to claim any individual thought of test cases 1, 2, and 3 in a specific way, you'll have a hard time by me. I was not thinking in that way. I was simply thinking of, like, can this work?
Can this work? What do I have to do to make this work?
Is it cursed? Is it cursed enough? Gosh, I really wonder how low instructions go.
Hmm?
I really wonder how low instructions go. I would be a little bit sad if what I've made is the lowest, because I would hope to see something better.
It goes. It goes.
It goes.
Alright, next up we have our first... Is it? Yeah, it's our first sub-100 instructions solution. In 16th place, we have at 98 instructions. Username Void.
Nice.
Tracks.
I wonder if this is a speed solve. Because I know that username Void did do
It
a
says
speed
new
solve.
solution 1.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a reasonable belief, is that it is a speed solve.
Yeah. It says new solution 1 and it has no notes. This looks like a speed solve.
Yeah, based on where it is in the submission list, it's definitely a speed solve.
I know that you didn't start on time. So
Yeah.
was chatting about. See if I can find the Discord time. .d puzzle was revealed here about 15 minutes in game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was watching the stream, so it didn't start it at the exact time that it became available, but this was only about 15 minutes of time spent in game for username Void.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
all
Yeah,
good.
this one seems to have 5 drops, but one of the drops, 2 of the arms are dropping on the same cycle. Arms 9 and 2.
Oh, I see. So it's essentially 2 different drops, I think. Yeah, in terms of the right chamber, it's 2 of the same. It's the same drop. So the right chamber sure can't tell which arm dropped it.
Right.
Oh, this
Oh,
one
and this
takes
one's
a
using
while.
the conditional on the
The conditional of does it exist or not on the right
conduit.
chamber. Oh, yeah, it also uses panic pass through the conduit.
Yeah, it seems like in both cases the water is the one getting dropped on that 4th drop that the arms 2 and 9 are doing simultaneously. So it's always water that goes through there.
And in this version, water
Wait,
is
I
the
think
one
this is
that
the
always
first
has
one.
ones.
This one's the fastest one. The most direct
True.
one.
Oh no, wait, it has fire in that one. Never mind.
Yeah, but on the 2 that are 2 of them is water.
Yeah, yeah.
Alright. Next up, we have in 15th place at 90 instructions with a lot of notes. We have 70 Eastern. So I can read the notes out. Explanation of my current problem. My dad had broken my laptop screen and confiscated my phone. I could only do this puzzle by hijacking my laptop using a laptop that uses Kali Linux hijacking, and by hijacking I've been installing TeamViewer on both laptops, and yeah. Either way, this is the second and final solve of this weekly for me. How this works. First, it decomposes the nucleon into its distinctive atoms. We note water as 1, fire as 2, and earth as 3. And then we follow the fire, earth, water, fire, earth, water, fire rule I invented right here. That means the first earth is from the nucleon type 1, the second, third, and fourth are from the nucleon type 2, the last... I can't tell if 3 means, you know, the atoms are 3.
I mean, I think the atoms are being numbered, but because we are not sure whether it's
whether
water,
it's a number or representing an atom.
Like, I mean, so in the official version of the puzzle, we're not actually rotating the input. We're keeping the input fixed and changing the bonds. So if you wanted to call them water, earth, fire, you'd be only correct in one of those 2 pictures. But if you number them, you can be correct in both.
Fair. So, and then we follow the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 rule I invented here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 means the first 3 from the nucleon type 1, the second, third, and fourth from the nucleon type 2, and the last 3 from the nucleon type 3. I assume that means drops. The atoms exiting according to this specific order in order to create a specified nucleon. When I first thought of this solve in my mind, it had a tad bit more instructions than the final result, and now it stands proudly at 90i and 200G. Update on the message now, I am using Chrome Remote Desktop to easily connect on the laptop, but for now this is going to be it for this weekly. Can't wait to try weekly 9 with new hope in my soul, and I wish you all good luck. Unfortunately, I can no longer watch the streams as a consequence, but I will watch these after I wake up anyways. I still don't hope to reach first place after a while, but I still hope it reaches in the top 10. I will submit the first off as a showcase with a short note there. Top 15 though.
She was typing with a lot of. Was that all written without without the space bar?
I think so. There was a lot of messages in the
Because she was typing without a space bar.
Yeah. Or maybe the space bar was just
I was just wondering if
inconvenient.
you were somehow. I was wondering if you were somehow managing to read past B as space in that entire long note.
Oh, no, there's spaces in the notes, just not in the
Okay,
recent messages.
yeah. She was struggling to get any device working for her.
Yeah, sadly.
It's amazing how hard Opus Magnum players will work to push through technical limitations to make sure their marble game solution goes through.
I mean, look at Nightshine.
Exactly, that's who I was thinking of in parallel.
Does not have game. Solves puzzle anyways.
So this one's kind of interesting because it kind of is using an output conditional. If you notice, it's dropping like only 2 atoms on the output, where I think in one of the cases it'll all 3. So
Yeah. It's allowed as long as you haven't made the full output wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
If it's just missing a part, you can then grab it again and put it back on the bonder and make the next piece go on.
Oh yeah, it just drops it in because all 3 are correct.
Right.
And one more test case.
That's the one we already watched. You have a bad habit of pivoting it whichever way you fancy, and if you do it opposite and 2 in a row, it'll do the same thing.
I know.
That's the other one we already watched.
Is it? No, this was not the other one we already
You're
watched.
right, you're right. I was
Because-
wrong, sorry.
Because it doesn't drop immediately, it extends it out a bit and then drops it.
Yeah, that's another one that'll do a drop 2 on the thing.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. It's like it kind of feels a little bit. I guess it's just a clever way of doing it.
Mm-hmm. It's not the full thing.
Yeah,
It's
if you have
valid.
the conditional promo. It means that you still have to have created a timing disparity, otherwise that would be a complete wrong output.
Right. Right.
I was trying to just pivot it clockwise every time. It's less so an output conditional and more so I can get away with this because it's not a full molecule.
Mm-hmm.
Where that drop on the output would have been the full 3 outputs because it doesn't grab, it grabs from the near atom. Counterclockwise is better.
Do a poll. You can do polls in Twitch chat, right?
If this was Infinity Factory, that would have failed.
How do I make a poll?
Which one's better, clockwise or counterclockwise?
Let me see if I can make a poll. I have to open Twitch for this because I don't know if I can do that from my OBS creator dashboard.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I said E because I was imagining pivoting clockwise, but if we are trying to move the input to its other orientation, you have to use D or A, because it's like click dragging and then pressing Q and E does nothing.
Manage poll. I can. Create a new poll. Question. Which direction to rotate the input and output between test cases?
Everyone has to be unanimous, otherwise she'll look at this and think, all right, 60% of the time I'll do clockwise and 40% of the time I'll do counterclockwise, and we'll be right back where we started.
There's a character limit. What does allow additional votes? Oh, I can allow, Alright, responses. Number 1, clockwise. Counterclockwise. Duration, do not allow additional votes. Duration, I don't know, 2 minutes. Start poll. Alright. Is the poll available for y'all?
Yeah.
We can
I
just...
appreciate that keep being a mess is an option.
I'll let that run while this goes on. Watch keep being a mess just win the poll. Thanks everyone, it's tight right now.
I have to go create 10 ults and then win the poll with my preference.
If you can do that within 2 minutes,
Wait,
go
what-
off.
Well, what's your preference? If you say it on stream, maybe someone will decide
Everyone
to
vote
vote for you.
clockwise. Everyone vote clockwise.
My preference is keep being a mess.
Of course, it's
That's what I voted for.
Which means this poll was useless, but you know, we have some fun.
Yeah, we could probably go on to the next one while it's.
Yeah, we can go to the next one first while this happens. The next one, let me get back on the AHK, is in 14th place at 84 instructions by Rat Massive. He's wearing a little hat. I assume this is the hat. I think. Lots of
yeah,
tracks
nice
for this
track.
solution.
So the very first drop. Oh, this is a pretty fast solution. It's 1p, but it does everything very quickly. Keep being a mess has won. Good job,
Good
Bish.
job, everyone.
You managed to democratize the status quo. I like
Alright.
ARM 1's 2-drop conditionals. We should look at it with another output direction of your choosing to see what it means on the others.
You know me from Transmutation CX, I do counterclockwise.
Got it. So in every single case, ARM 1 will eventually drop its atom on the conduit. But in this one, when it's holding water, it takes till the second one while letting go of the earth. If it's holding earth, it takes till the second one for a different reason, because it just drops 3 on the conduit on the first time. And then if it's holding fire, it's what it drops on the first time.
Mm-hmm. I guess there are 6 drops total?
Piston.
Yeah, this one has so many arms, but each arm has exactly one job, so it's saving all the instructions that you would have handing off from one thing to the next in some of the other solutions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sort of counterintuitively, more arms is fewer instructions in the end.
Yeah, because each of the arms are doing less, but once you get to the later solves, grabs and drops start to add up. But I guess those grab and drops are still necessary just due to the fact that conditionals have to be made anyways, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I'm curious
compared
what
to
the
spiritual
theory
champion
limit for
solo.
1p.
Hmm?
I'm curious what the theory limit for 1p is. You can make a few necessary assumptions of like 1p cannot get lower than this number, and then see, okay, what do you do with fractional p?
Mm-hmm. I wonder when we'll start seeing fractional P. Also, notes. I can read the notes. 2 failed strategies and a lot of hitting the walls later. Solve time was just over 3 hours before I got my first working solution, and I think that's where I call it for this week. I've got so much room, I know I'm missing something. I'm looking forward to some wizardry ahead, though. Who thought the small chambers were a good idea? Oh, you think these are small? Wait till
Yeah.
you see, like, you know, how the original puzzle was. We'll see.
I mean, it's fine. I think it was a good idea to make them bigger just because it's more.
I think these are the
like
biggest chamber sizes, aren't they?
There might be one that's bigger.
I think this is the
remember.
biggest one.
Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, the focus of the
when-
puzzle wasn't really meant to be getting it to fit into the chamber, because there's already a lot of other stuff going on that's interesting. So I think
Yeah.
bigger is good.
I guess
Oh, yeah,
the
biggest
excuse is the excuse of using production is the isolation thing.
Yeah, isolation with conduits is the actual gimmick here. The size of the chamber does prevent you doing some like degenerate free space instruction stuff, but doesn't fully prevent it. It just gives you an upper limit on the degeneracy.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, so kind of the puzzle is how much degeneracy can you fit into this area?
Well,
who
We'll
will
see a
win?
lot of that coming up. Yeah, so the main point of the puzzle being production is so that you can't just do this.
Are you just making something that drops the input onto the output? Yeah. Well.
3 instructions. Congrats, y'all. So these are the largest
You can
chamber
still
sizes.
do that though.
You can, but it will not be considered valid. Because you can somehow put them in the same chamber. Alright, we've
you
seen
would simply
this
bypass what the game tells you you need to do.
It's almost as if we've been doing this for like this whole time with overlap.
And I was just referencing also last week where we had an overlap output.
Yeah. I mean, I still have overlap on, so I can do curse things such as this. Just overlap everything.
This poor Saul.
Tinkering it
What are
into
you
death.
doing to it? No, it's
He's wearing a little everything.
horrible.
Alright,
I do like that.
Tinkering live on stream. Yeah, the overlap mod is the mod is great for like doing overlap. Alright, next up.
You were saying at one point you wonder when the first 1/6 or partial fractional p solve would come up. I know that Genius 42 sent me a solve titled Up Down Strange Charm Top Bottom that had 88 instructions but was 1/6 p. So there were at least solutions made that I'm aware of, which were
Oh,
6
yeah,
p
I
and
see
larger
it.
instruction count.
It's here. 80 instructions, 545 cost, team 42, up, down, strange, charm, top, bottom, madness. It's in a different order.
Yeah.
Alright, next up we have in 13th place at 73i and 345 cost. I don't know if that went through with noise suppression.
Wait, who? Oh, would you say which push?
Which fish?
Okay, that did not go through. Yeah.
Down. Hex arms. A lovely sight. This one's using some conduit conditionals.
It also
This
looks
one-
to be fractional p because ARM 9 does not start each tape loop in the same place.
Yeah, it
This is
seems
like-
like 1/2 P.
I think it's half
Oh, yeah,
P, but more so for instruction saving purposes.
Yeah, ARM 1 does not end its instruction tape loop on the input.
It's not
It does the thing
fractional
that I
P
called
for
out in top.
it's not fractional P for discerning discerning input purposes. It's fractional P for just saving
Save
the
reset.
few return instructions.
Oh,
You take
interesting.
the.
Yeah, it's not actually doing anything on the second tape loop.
Yeah, it's just
I called this
returning
out
the
on
arms.
spiritual senses. Of like, if you just reset the arm to the other side, then it'll just spend another tape loop before it pulls the input. But it was hard because that one had a lot of grabs that it would accidentally do on the input during its other tape loop.
Yeah.
This one has only one arm that can touch the input, so if it resets backwards, it's fine.
Yeah. Only one arm and 9 seem to do it though.
Oh, arms 10 and 7 do it as well. They both drop on the conduit,
Arms 10
and then
and 7 also do it.
their second tape loop is spent bringing it back.
Yeah, that's why it's on the diamond track. Right.
It's kind of sad that both arms 10 and 7 need to exist, but I guess there's a timing to distinguish between the two, because if arm 10 delivers it, arm 8 can grab it, and if arm 7 delivers it, then it can't.
Also, I assume
guess-
3x3, 4x3, 5x3, 5x5, 6x5, and 7x7 is directions according to Opus Magnum coordinates.
Mm-hmm. It's the two long diagonals. You just measure the two diagonals, I guess.
Does that work for the 4x3?
It doesn't. You're right.
Yeah, so it's horizontal and diagonal.
Horizontal and height.
Yeah, horizontal and height. Width and height. There we go.
Yeah, the chambers are called that by name, so yeah. It's not like you can pick any size you want.
So, yeah. Let's check the other test
Also-
cases.
Chat
It's-
pointing out that if you just focus on the tracks in each chamber, you're getting two faces. The one on the left looks judgy, and the one on the right looks wacky. Mr.
It's
Puzzle out here.
These are the eyes and the mouth. These are the eyes and the mouth.
Triangle chamber where the only thing you can do is provide inputs.
Oh no, triangle. That sounds disgusting.
Actually, you could also have a calcifier in there. That could be your calcification hole.
Your calcification hole. The hole specifically made for calcification. Alright, just one more. Oh, this was the fast one. Discord noise, Discord noise. I think that's from Biggie's side. I have it turned off.
It was just one Discord noise. I'm sorry. Someone pinged me about the address. I'll go put on Do Not Disturb. There, streamer mode. No one will hear my Discord pings.
And now you can see everybody's name has something dot.
Yeah, sorry, I lost all the names.
Yeah, we were calling people. It happened and Zorfax was confused, and we were all calling each other all B dot, Z dot, P dot.
Yeah, there was somebody whose name started with an M that became M dot dot dot, and then they
Yeah.
changed their display name to Mellipsis, M ellipsis. It's great.
Zorflex is here for random noises, not computation. And also the shenanigans afoot.
It's surprising to me that your noise suppression was able to get rid of the witch psh sound, but it did not get rid of a Discord ping.
I mean, Discord ping is coming from you. I think.
Right. It's not coming through your mic. It's coming through your desktop audio, which is okay.
Yeah.
So I'm the one who screwed it all up. You're right.
Alright. Next up, we have another drop in instructions. Oh boy, at 63 instructions in 12th place, we have Team Mr. Arpioso.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember RPO saying something that seemed.
It's a clever
Our solution is 99% Mr. Puzzle. If we win any tiebreakers, though, that's all RPO.
I think this is our first fractional solve that actually uses the fractionals to its advantage.
It is doing 1/6 P because ARM 4 is only doing 3 instructions.
Yeah, functional
So this solve, there's like a class of solves like this where they keep rotating it around into all three of the three orientations, and each like round through the tape loop or 2 rounds for the tape loop or whatever. I think in this one it's each round through the tape loop and then the last 3 are just resetting. It rotates it once, so it looks for the bond in the first place, then it rotates it 2 times, looks for the bond in the next place, rotates it 2 times, and then looks in the bond in the next place. And as soon as it sees the bond, it puts all 3 of the atoms through the conduit in the same order. And then at the other end, it has to somehow use synchronization of the arms to fix the orientation, because it's always going to come out in the same bond pattern in the other side, because it's always coming out in the same part of the tape loop.
Well,
Yeah,
so that's
arm
what
two
Arm
and
10
3
is doing.
do. Well,
Yeah,
basically,
Arm 10 and
I
3.
think just Arm 3 does.
Arm 3 is there to spin it, and Arm 10 is to give it
Yeah.
a deadline saying, at this time it has to be in the orientation I'm going to output it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's basically what it does. So let's check out the other
But
ones.
Yeah, but like all the state is stored in ARM 10 kind of, because it's like there are technically 6 ways that ARM 10 can be,
3 ways.
because it's a 2 ARM. Or yeah, 3 ways, right, because there's 3 different cases.
3 discernible ways.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see the other test
So yeah,
case.
you'll be able to watch
Nope.
each test case sit there on that little triangle spot where Arm 3 is spinning it around for a different length of time.
Oh, it assembles
Mhm.
it again. Interesting. Oh yeah, that was the immediate one. And
Oh
then
gosh,
what's a while.
RPO is responsible for Arm 4 turning from a bi-arm, how it initially was, into a single arm to turn it from 1/3 P into 1/6 P and just not cause any problems. That's 10 golds of savings. That's what RPO is taking credit for in the Discord chat.
I see. Alright, notes.
Yeah.
The machine completes
Never
one
mind.
product
It's
every
because
6
of the-
tape loops. Here's what it does on each tape loop. Loop 1. Grab an input. If the missing bond is between water and earth, the nucleon is sent through the conduit. If the missing bond is between fire and earth, the nucleon is sent through the conduit. Loop 2. If the missing bond is between fire and earth, the nucleon is sent through the conduit. Loop 3. If the missing bond is between the fire and water, the nucleon is sent through the conduit. Drop an output. Keep in mind that it's not representative of the bonds here because we did not change the bonds, we just changed the orientation. Loop 4 to 6, nothing meaningful. Arm 5 could have been a bi-arm, but the secondary is gold, not cycles. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we
The
didn't want to do
hexagon.
cycles just because it would require like averaging somehow over the solves, whereas
Oh,
with
yeah,
gold
that's
it's always
disgusting.
the same. So
Gold is constant.
Yeah,
Use
Although
the constant
the solve
metrics.
would output on the same cycle for every input because the output is being done by like a deadline arm. Arm
Yeah,
10
but,
is like
you know,
always going to.
That's this solve.
There are many. Yeah, there are many that would. You're right, but I'm saying that this is of the class of solves where it is possible
It would
to
not have mattered, yeah.
assign 1 cycles count.
Oh yeah, Kazian says ARM 10 could be a single arm. I think that's right, because unless there's
Let's
something
do it then.
I'm missing.
Tinkering on stream. Is that going to be at the right time? That is, okay. Alright, check it for the other orientations.
This makes tinkering even more fun when you have to check it for all 3 orientations.
It's not that long. It doesn't take that long. Yeah,
And then in
works.
11th place, no, and then in tied for 9th place at
And then
315.
tied. No.
They were hoping to be top
No, you
10,
already
and
sh-
this was
You're cheaper than the next solve, don't worry. In 11th place, we have at 62 instructions. 1 instructions less at 400 cost. Transcendental guy.
It was close.
It is. Left to right is a canonical form. This was definitely submitted after the poll.
There are a lot of arms here.
Oh
They
my
are doing
god, what is
very
happening?
smoothly.
So
Oh my
this
god,
one
Arm
is
4 is just dropping out.
Oh, I remember this one.
yeah.
This one remembers its state via ARM 10.
Mhm.
Oh, that's really cool, actually. Wow.
It's like the lock and key thing.
I can believe that this is a fantastic way of solving the puzzle that I had never considered.
Yeah, I was really happy to see like I don't know if you call it batching, but something where it sends the state over once and then just uses that.
Yeah, I
to
believe the
do
previous
the work.
name for a solve submitted by Transcendental guy said, "Is this batching?"
Mm-hmm.
Before he changed it to comment on my poll. The glorious initialization. Yeah, let's look at that again.
So it actually processes all 3 inputs the same in steady state. It bonds it into a full triangle
Mm-hmm.
and then breaks it apart one atom at a time. But the difference is how many times it spins it and then breaks that bond.
Yeah, since,
I really like the idea here.
after it bonds, it is not discernible of what the original input was. Over here from ARM 1. Apart from the state of the atom in ARM 10, which I think for this one, actually, if you rotate it, it actually changes the color of the atom there. Oh. What happened? Does it actually not work for all test cases? Oh no.
Oh wait. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
The timing of the ARM 5 isn't correct. I don't know why. And in mine, it's later.
How
It got
how
messed
should
up
I move
somehow?
it? Yeah, how should I move it? How much later? Is one instruction later enough?
No, it's like 1 cycle later. I think so.
Yeah, one cycle. Let me see if that works.
No, like 1 tape length later. I mean,
One tape length later, okay.
Is that copying instructions thing a Mr. Puzzle mod
No, that's control.
feature?
That's holding control. It's
Oh,
vanilla.
holding control. Okay.
Yeah.
I see. For some reason, I thought you were pressing like a key shortcut to copy paste.
Yeah, it's holding control and dragging paste. Yeah.
Okay.
The reason it looks like that is because Zoom mod makes instructions go behind when you're dragging.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like copy paste. I see why you're saying that. Anyways, let's see if this works.
So this is the sort of puzzle that would be, or this is the sort of solution that would be invalidated by a requirement that solutions must
But this is
be
Weeklies.
able to handle inputs on each.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for instructions,
it would
primary
be batching
computation
then.
puzzles. Yeah, for instructions, primary computation puzzles, I don't think it's as big a deal because the original reason it was added was because of cycles, because people were, just computing it once and then splatting out 6 products.
Especially when duplication was provided.
Yeah, that was crap for Will inversion cycles. But yeah, you have to be able to assume every input is a new chance for the information to be changed. And in this one, they're directly making sure that, every input was going to be treated the same. We've gotten our information across the conduit earlier.
Mm-hmm. Depending on your, what you think computation means, this may or may not be something you're happy with. But it is, beyond just philosophically, practically it is better to not do batching because if you restrict batching, you have to,
What's wrong?
do things that the game doesn't.
Transcendental. Oh, did I just rotate this wrong, actually? I might have
That
just
looks
done
like a you issue.
It's probably a me issue. I think it was probably supposed to be like this. Let me test it.
But yeah, if you ban batching, then actually testing that your solve is valid is something that you can't do with the tools the game gives you. You either have to use some kind of external tool or just think about it in your head.
Yeah, I remember Not Great's computation checker.
No, that's not a me issue. The chirality is wrong.
Oh yeah, green is bonded to red. That's a little funky.
How did this go through?
I think it's ARM 5 conditional. uh, let it play like slow to check its arm 5 is working correctly.
Check if arm 5 is working correctly. It does send in the earth a little late. Is that supposed to be correct?
I think it's a little bit too late.
Alright,
Uh,
I'll try to move it until it works. Right, I think that works.
Yeah, I think
that
the
works for
compressor
this
didn't catch
test
it
case.
because it's like a simultaneous motion thing, which is something that I haven't done.
Oh, it literally bypassed the check within OM
OM
sim.
sim because OM sim doesn't detect for two arms moving things in different directions.
And
So-
it kind of does break things a bit, so usually you notice it. Like, it sets a flag on the atom that it's grabbed, and then it never gets cleared, so you can't output it. But if you're just using it as a wand, then...
Oh my gosh. Okay, I see. That's hilarious. So the
Yeah.
parser allowed it because of that bug, and the game allowed it because they only tested the cases that it worked for.
Uh-huh.
So we're literally sitting in a situation where an invalid solution made it up to the 11th place.
Well,
So
I
it
mean, it's
seems like
still
it's
it's
fixable?
still 62. It still works at 62 instructions. It's working now.
Yeah.
All right, let me read the notes we've been putting out. I've been putting out for a bit. Arms 4, 5, and 2, and 6 initialize the machine by giving atom to 10 at a different hand depending on the input. After that, the machine enters a 6-tape loop where arms 1, 2, and 3 stabilize the input for a deterministic peeling. Then the left chamber reconstructs a stabilized nucleon and flip it until arm 10 debonds one of the sides. The machine makes sure that all inputs are flipped the same amount of time so that arm 9 is holding the fire output while outputting. Assume that the fire output, assuming only the bonds are changed. There we go. I wonder how the solution even got messed up, though. I assume Transcendental Guy would have found the issue. So the solution probably didn't get saved properly before submitting,
Yeah.
I'm assuming is the problem. Or a wrong
I think
addition was
this-
submitted.
Like, it worked for... I was trying to optimize something, I don't remember. Then I tried to submit it. It passed all the tests, so I assumed it was correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it's kind
submission
of
said
my
it was
bad.
correct because OM sim did messed up.
Yeah, because of my bug that I've left in there for ages. Grimmy was talking about that too earlier, so they said that they might fix it themselves, and I'll probably look at it if they don't. It should be possible to fix. It's just, yeah, it's been there for so long.
And it hasn't caused too many issues. I hope. Right?
Yeah, I think
Right?
this is the first. This is the first one
In the tournament.
has impacted anything. I think.
Alright, because it's computation and sometimes it doesn't, yeah? Alright.
Right.
Next up, we have a bit of a drop in solutions because there's a huge gap of people who have improved. From 62 to 52, we have still in 11th place because it's a host of Paxton. This is when we had a smaller chamber. It was ported over and denoted by equilibriums.
That's funny.
It works.
Arm 1's doing the classic reverse reset tape. I see that a lot in TI.
Mm-hmm.
It's using TI tech for the instructions metric.
Is Arm 10 the deadline arms?
Also, is this No, it's
No, it's just there
It's-
for one of the outputs.
it's definitely 16P with how ARM 1 is working though.
Yes. So you can definitely use 1/3 P style stuff in 1/6P. Just it will not do anything for half of the time.
Yeah. So it is essentially, I don't know, we have to check the other cases. How long does it take? This one takes, 1, 2, 3 tables to pass everything. This one takes 1, 2, 3, 4 tables. This one takes 4 tables to pass everything. 1, 2 tables to pass everything for this one. So the amount of time it takes to pass everything through the conduit is a different amount of tape loops for each one, for each of the inputs.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like separate arms for each of the different timings to output. So it's actually adding quite a few instructions, just trying to make sure that the right arm outputs.
I think ARM
But that's a
10
challenge to
and
do.
ARM 9, yeah, are responsible for outputting. I think only one of the test cases actually require ARM 9 to do something. Which one is it? Not this one. This one, yeah. This one, actually, this was the one that has ARM 9 actually output instead of ARM 10.
This is the 2, 3, 4 test case.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could save cost by making ARM 9 into a track arm in the right instead of a piston.
Yeah, but, you know, small chambers.
I mean, there's space on the right.
I'm not saying in the 7x6
Oh, right.
I'm saying on the 5.
Like this.
Yeah.
Live
It's possible something
tinkering.
might crash into it, but
Yeah, that was ARM 8. No, it works. I think. Let's try the other cases, just to make sure.
I would imagine this might fail one of them, but
Yeah, I know,
if you
it
put it
crashes.
down, it'll actually succeed. You pick the greedier point for it.
Right.
Oh,
yeah,
it might also
let's
have to do a reset at a different time because don't
Yeah.
tinker. Don't tinker.
Don't tinker.
Tinkering is a path to horrible feelings.
It worked how it did. Don't touch. No touchy.
if you're gonna tinker, figure it out beforehand and then just execute on stream.
Anyways, yeah, this was done to prove a point that small chamber would have worked because we took a long time to actually start playtesting this puzzle because we're the weekly game, we do that. Actually, just tournaments in general, last moment playtesting.
Hey, my tournament, there was pretty good time beforehand, I think.
I guess maybe
Maybe
that's
not
just
for all
my
the puzzles though.
maybe that's just my
Yeah.
tournament. All right. Next up, we have in 10th place at 50 instructions, Calio Recess.
Wow.
All right, this is the solve I've been talking about. The uncertain
duration.
rate machine.
Yeah, rate detector makes sense.
Since if the output is not the one that doesn't debond, it gets sent back onto the input. So no new input is drawn. So the rate is different for each one depending on how many rotation it needs to do. You're turning to the
What
right.
is going on here in the
rotation.
output with this bonding situation?
The output is probably just so that... Oh, it's done so ARM7 can pivot it enough times to be in the right orientation. Since the rate is different, the rate is different, and the period, and the amount of period it gets before the next input comes in causes it to pivot extra times.
This is
Yeah.
the same trick that I used for Biggie's computation puzzle.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Where
Gosh,
it
that
spins.
was that's all.
as long as it needs to, and then the next thing coming in is the trigger for it to move on and stop spinning.
Yeah. So it just keeps on spinning until the next thing comes because it's at a constant rate for each of the solutions. Each solution has its own constant rate so that it pivots the amount of times needed. So like if we check,
It's a deadline arm, but it's a deadline bonder instead. It's a conditional deadline arm.
this one would be the case where it outputs immediately and the rate is the fastest. Well, by output I mean send through the conduits. So it doesn't do
Oh yeah, we got a
pivots.
1P 50i.
1p during this case.
So if the inputs did change for this one, it would be like delayed by 1, which output you get, right?
Yeah, you're right.
For the rate, yeah. And I guess for the
Well, I mean, it would use the next input to determine how many spins it gives the previous input. So the previous input would be outputting based on the next input's information.
Right. So you'd like
you would
lose
forever not have the first input, and you would get the next one.
Yeah, so I forgot what rotation I did. Let's do this one. This was the one I haven't done. This is a mess continues. This was the longest one. This was the slowest one. It's what people wanted.
the will of the people.
I actually have been keeping track this time though. I've been trying to keep
Delay
track.
line memory. Good job, Laking. Yeah, good name for it. Yeah, this is the 1p, half p, third p.
Right, yeah.
Good thing we don't have rate as a metric.
Yeah, rate for computation puzzles. Unexplored territory.
I explored rate for ELU. Never again. That was a 14,995 cross puzzle, and my computer ran at about 1 minute per cycle.
You went very hard on ELU. You did a lot of stuff for that puzzle.
I did. I was in a state. This will be the coolest thing. I'll just keep doing it.
It was really cool though, seeing the solution come up. Blowing everyone out of the water. But yeah, this is a very clever solve and it's very fun to watch. And also, that also means this wouldn't have worked if the input changes actually.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about how we get the second input information for the first.
Yeah. Since it will affect how the next one actually goes out. Alright. Oh, did I read the notes here? I don't think I read the notes, but we kind of explained it. The left side rotates 100 degrees each period until the missing bond aligns with the debonder. The right side is simply nucleon, but with an unknown orientation. The reconstructed nucleon is rotated by 120 degrees per period until the next product is made, which undoes the rotations performed in the left chamber. Alright. Next up, we have at 46 instructions in 9th place, random guest. Beware the road
I'm curious
that
what
leads to
the top 10
fractional.
bets will be.
For
I would have
where
guessed-
lies madness.
Nice.
Alright.
Daniel.
Now that we're in top 10, place your bets on top 3.
That's what I was going to say. I would have guessed Calyresis for top 3, if not for Calyresis in 10th.
Yeah.
I would love me in top 3 with Team 42, but I have no idea how low it goes.
We'll have to
I've
see.
seen some confidence from Fiesta Lern and from what's still not a Jasper.
Mhm.
Both of those teams could be up there.
Who else is left, actually? Let me see. We have, well, there's
Bambi.
random guest here. There's, how do I say this without revealing anything about the placements? Alphabetical order. There's Bambi. There's Cuckoo 52. There's Evanov. There's Fiestillern. There's now all the ones that start with a T because they're called Team. Team 42. And
Team Still Not a Jasper.
Team Still Not a Jasper. No, Team Sidron is first. Team Still Not a
True,
Jasper. And the Weekly Gang.
You spoiled it. You said Saijandras is first.
Did I say that?
You said that
First
they're both
alphabetically,
first,
I
Still Not a
think.
Jasper alphabetically, but I'm just teasing to see if I can
Oh,
catch
yeah.
you.
No, I said them alphabetically. I said Team Sidron is after Still Not a No, before Still Not a Jasper alphabetically.
Yeah, I know. I know what you were
Alphabets
going
are
for.
hard. Words hard.
I just wanted to trip you up. I'm sorry. I'm cruel when it comes to sneaking information.
This one, I think, is using a conduit conditional.
The second conduit conditional.
And
I
it's
can read the notes.
1/3 P.
I'll read the notes first for once instead of us just
Oh,
looking
yeah.
at it trying to figure it out. Bonding conditionals
Good
go
idea.
brr. Arms 1 and 3 use bonding conditionals to output the atoms in a different order depending on the case, resulting in each case assembling its first output after a different number of loops. This lets arm 5 to 7 output the assembled product in a different orientation on each successive loop. That doesn't explain much other than what we know. Time to see the other test cases then.
Arms
I mean,
6 and 7 are there to make sure the output lands in the glyph without being invalidly checked.
Yeah.
mhm.
If it's invalid, it's grabbed and moved on. So arm 6 and 7 are offset in period. Well, arm 5 is the default case, which is this one, I think. Let me check the other ones.
Yeah. This only grabs on the conduit 2 times per tape loop, so it can't produce an entire output in one tape loop.
Yeah, this is the arm 6 case. Referring to the cases by the arms outputting it would be convenient here. Yeah. So
I see. So yeah, arm 6 grabs it directly, and then there's the arm 5 case, and then there's the arm 5 hands off to arm 7 case, it seems like.
yeah, I think we're gonna be seeing that case right now. Yeah, arm 5 hands off to arm 7 case. Right. Next up, we have in 8th place, I think. No, not yet. We have in 9th place, because it's a host solve, would be 9th place. We have at 45 instructions and 260 gold, Rebix. Rebix solve, Rebix
Not
solve.
bad.
This is
Rebix
the
had
official
said that
playtest
he didn't
solve.
really try. He didn't really try to optimize instructions in his playtest solve, but he clearly managed to get a 1/6p solve. So that's a try.
Mm-hmm.
It has a
This does-
deadline arm with arms 7 and 8, yeah.
Yeah. Arm 8 is the deadline arm. I love how we just come up with terms of things as the stream
That's
goes.
what I was referring to in my head when I was making a solve, which, spoiler alert, uses it.
Uses the deadline arm.
Yeah, I'm trying to count the instructions on the right chamber to see where they are add up. It's 6 plus 6 plus 3 plus 4. So that's 19 instructions on the right chamber.
Sometimes the names of methods we come up with are meaningful, like deadline arm. Other times it's stuff like method. or we name it after someone's and like the cat's fin method, because cat's fin came up first in the solution orders.
For the biosteel, yeah.
Yeah, biosteel filament. Alright, let's check the other cases.
Yeah, I'm curious what it is doing to delay the input by a specific amount. Oh, it's going to have an output. It's going to have a conduit conditional. Yeah, because Arm 2 cannot drop onto the conduit with a full Bondi block.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
John's thinking the question, and I'm thinking which chamber goes lower in terms of instructions.
Which chamber goes low? Yeah. As of now, the left chamber has 26. The right chamber has 19.
The right has 19.
Yeah, there's no way Arm 2 needs to be a hex arm. I don't believe it.
Does it return? It returns. Does it ever grab 2 atoms at once? Don't know. It might grab 2 atoms at once at times. You can check that.
It does have a very specific task. It's just like Arm 4 is the one
No, it
permuting
never-
the
yeah,
angles.
it doesn't
Arm
have to be
2
a
is
hex
going
arm.
to do a test.
It even resets.
I see that Rebex did not need the did not solve the 5x5 version because Arm 1 out here is doing a very specific area using thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Arm 5, the sort of motif it has for building the full thing, where it sort of conditionally, like if it's just 2 things, it doesn't pivot at all. But then and then it makes the bonded pair, and then it pivots it and bonds the last thing to it, and then Arm 6 grabs from it.
Also, we can only have one metric. We have time to tinker. Don't worry. And this one's a relatively easy one. All right.
Since my right chamber is just like a slightly better version of Rebex's right chamber, I think Arm 5 is actually a weak point.
Oh boy. All right.
It looks nice though.
Next up, we have in 8th place now, actually, at 41 instructions and 225 gold. Bambi.
Sub 42.
Right to left gang, right to left gang.
I guess.
I guess.
I'm just making an IG pun
I
based
know.
on the,
I noticed it when I saw the solution title too.
So we do have a deadline arm here, Arm 6.
Yeah. Deadline arms are powerful.
How many instructions is this right chamber?
Right chamber.
Oh, Arm 7 has 2 grabs.
25
Arm 7 has 2 grabs, which is like,
compared to 16.
yeah. Yeah, so 16 for the assembly chamber is the same number I have. I'm really curious if we could maybe take the best solution left chamber and the best solution right chamber with left and right meaning something good instead of what this solve does and build a better solution out of it.
We'll have to see.
Or if there is any team that will have found the best of both.
I do not want to mess with the timing though. Not that's not gonna be happening on stream, that's for sure. Y'all can do that offline if it's viable.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm looking at this and thinking it's probably a cheaper assembly chamber at the same instructions as Team 42's, so this could improve Team 42's solve.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the right chamber also functions on 1/6p, where the conditional. Let's actually see the conditionals. Oh, it just does it until it outputs correctly to output the single atom. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
that makes
doing
sense.
very similar to the Caloresis method of rebuild the trio until it is correct.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it
I
seems
guess
like
it's
a
more similar to
pretty
Mr. Puzzle
powerful
method,
common
actually.
motif. Yeah, we've seen a few
Yeah.
few ones that do this sort of thing, where it puts it back together and then takes it apart until it is the right way.
Yeah, until it's in the right orientation. And with the deadline arm that sends it out, this seems to be, dare I say,
The
method. Method.
deadline arm is method. But also, how you implement this is still really challenging because I'm looking
Yeah.
at all these thinking, what can I learn from this that I didn't figure out over the course of the week? Right now, I have seen a cheaper assembly chamber, but I swear Team 42's disassembly chamber is pure magic, and I don't think anyone else will find it.
Mr. Puzzle says, can't wait for this puzzle to show up on the leaderboard. Smile. If only.
Need to find a way to, like, the ideal would be some way of describing computation puzzles so that the
Yeah, the
like you
bot
don't just
can
have to write code for each one. Yeah, and also like the mod could interpret it and stuff. But
Alright, next up, we have also at 41 instructions, we start the primary ties. Is this the only primary tie that happens? No, it is not. Next up at 41 instructions and 200 gold, Cuckoo 52. What is this? It's deadline arm, but that's an interesting disassembly and assembly.
It's using pure conduit space conditionals. That's really cool.
Yeah.
yeah, that is cool because like on the starting orientation.
Yeah, it has to pivot it until anything goes through the conduit, and then it starts the chunking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious why ARM 2 exists, actually.
Let's see the other cases then. It might matter. Not for this one. One more. Ah. Now to send the Earth all the way around.
Oh wow, that's funny.
I assume so that it's assembled in the right
Oh,
order.
because it. Well, if you didn't do that, it just would crash into itself.
Yeah.
Because it's
Right, 'cause
trying to
there's-
rotate the whole thing around.
It's trying to
So
rotate
the idea
from that
doesn't quite
point
work, but then ARM 2 makes
Yeah.
it work. Yeah.
with just the cost of
Like, what
3
you really want-
instructions.
Right. Really, what you really want is for the conduit to be on the same hex as the place where the atom's getting debonded, so that you can just drop it right in there. But
Alright,
since it has to
so-
be one off, you need ARM 2 to fix it up.
This is 22 disassembly, 19 assembly. Alright. Next up.
That's going to be good statistics to get for all of them, by the way. So yeah, I'm glad you're doing that.
Yeah. Alright, next up at, So, the 3 instructions saved by ARM 2, if it could be saved, did not matter, because next up is at 35 instructions in 6th place.
Phew, that's a big drop.
It is, at this stage, the weekly game.
I'm sweating.
Timing is everything. It sure is. There it is. Once again, it is the, deadline arm.
I'm looking at ARM 4 with the pivots.
Oh yeah, some clever
Oh, that-
outputting. With very
That's
little
really neat.
instructions. Yeah. Some clever
Who all is the
disassembling and
weekly game?
outputting. Weekly game consists
That's
of not
Gecko
Rebix
and
this
Fine
week,
Deer?
but Gecko and Fine Deer, yeah.
Got it, yeah.
John. Oh no, that's low. Right, Team Side John Dress hasn't shown up yet.
Per chamber count, this looks like both chambers are efficient, but I can't tell how many instructions.
18 for disassembly, 17 for assembly.
17%.
Adds up to
Alright.
35.
Yep. I really like the bond it back into a triangle after each attempt to debond. That's not something that I ever made a solution that did.
Oh yeah, a lot of those do that. It just... Huh. Well, this one does it after debonding. That's interesting. I guess that's how it delays it. We haven't checked the other cases, but I assume it delays it when it... Yeah, that's how it's delayed. Yeah.
Yep.
Alright, notes. Notes. Depending on the bond location, the atoms get passed through 0, 1, or 2 period delay, but always in the order such that the atoms with 2 bonds is passed through the second and the other 2 first and last respectively. The right side assembles the molecule. This is easy given the same order always, and rotates it for 2, 1, 0 period to get the correct rotation. This works with synced arms doing the grab, drop, rotate because 0, 1, 2 and 2, 1, 0 match up. In short, trit encoding in period delay. Does it say trit? Am I reading that right? Yeah, it says trit.
Trit, yeah. It's a 3-state encoding.
Mm-hmm. Bindeer says he started with the idea and improved it with Gecko. Alright, next up
Yeah,
in
we're into the
place.
wizard territory. We're into the wizard territory here.
We're in the wizard territory, and it gets lower. Next up, also at 255 gold, but 33 instructions, we have Evanov. Oh, that's a lot of notes.
Oh,
What's the solution title? I heard that non-cursed can only go so far.
What is this gonna be?
Huh. Oh, it's also a deadline arm. I see. But the disassembly is different, a bit different looking. I guess it's just because everything, it's just hex arms messing with my eyes.
This is almost the exact same assembly chamber as Team 42. So.
Notes time.
Like, this is identical except for the fact that the geometry is different.
The algorithm is rather non-cursed. Always send the atom on the counterclockwise sides of the missing bond first and go counterclockwise. With this, the bonding station does the same thing in all cases and result in the same bond shape when it fulfills the leaving condition. Well, to save regrabbing instructions, it leaves the bonder as full triangle, but the desired bond shape is the same relative to the bonder glyph, so it fixes on the same debonder on all cases. And the difference between cases is just rotation, and can be arranged so that all 3 cases finishes rotation at the same time. Now, to achieve the conduit signature, the trick is to artificially add bonds to one case so that the 3 cases enter the debonding station 2, 3, and 4 times respectively. Thus, the machinery has to deal with 4 cases. The 1 atom left case and the 4 atom left case. Both has a lone atom on the far end of the debonder, and the only one to differentiate whether there's a 2-stick on conduit, the only way to differentiate whether there's a 2-stick on conduit. So the lone atom has to rebond to the 2-stick. Capitalization, Evanov, please. The 3 atom left case and 4 atom left case both have 3 bonded atoms going back from the conduit to debonding station, but the 4 atom left case must redo lone conduit bond while 3 atom left case must not. So 2 arms, arm 3 and arm 4, are needed to execute the conduit to debonding station move in 2 separate paths. The design is not entirely trackless, but it gives out a lot of TI vibes with the 1/6p and rotate back and forth. The instruction count in debonding chamber 17 isn't exactly low as I imagine there can be isn't exactly as low as I imagine. Evanov,
This broke.
review your notes. Reread your notes, please. I assume it means the instruction count in the debonding chamber isn't as low as I imagine it can be. I imagine there can be one big track with helper motifs, but don't have expertise to go deep into. I also have a very cursed debonding chamber that does a debonding job in 16.5p, but its conduit signature probably takes 30 plus instructions in the bonding chamber. Still looking forward to a debonding chamber instruction, bonding chamber instruction, Perino Frontier mapped out. There. Emma, why are you not so hard to read?
This is 1716, and the notes did a very good job explaining why.
Yeah. The notes were so hard to read because it looked like commas are periods because the following letter is not capitalized. But sometimes it is, but not always. Sometimes a new sentence has the first letter capitalized, sometimes it doesn't. Anyways. My qualms with the way the notes are written aside. Where is the 1 atom and 4 atom left case? Which one is it?
Spin it until we understand.
Spin it until we understand. Not this one, it seems. Is it? No, not this one. Was that the first one, actually?
Try the first again? I would say that it was probably the one that we just were on, but maybe it's the first one.
Can't tell.
That one is just a basic... That's the fastest one.
Yeah. Or does it mean like cases between periods? That might be what it means. So not specific cases. But it does a deadline arm. We know that much.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely understand everything that's going on in the assembly chamber via previous assembly chambers. The question of whether the left chamber is trying to do anything sneaky depends on whether it has to ever rebond. And this is the only version that has to rebond, I think.
Maybe. I think the other one also rebonded. Am I rotating in the right direction? I don't know.
I mean, there was one that placed something and then it got rejected, but it didn't actually rebond anything because there wasn't any atom like.
Yeah, that was the
never
one that had
grabbed
to
an atom
rebond.
to rebond on the other team.
Yeah, that was the one that had to rebond. The other ones don't. Okay.
Yeah, John says the only one rebonds.
Alright.
Alright.
In fourth
now
place.
Everyone's hoping to get top 3. Who
Now
actually
everyone's
done?
hoping to get top 3. In fourth place, at 260 gold and 30 instructions, I think. Yeah. We have Fiesta Lair.
Wow.
Atomic Clock. Holy hex arms.
This is almost... It could be trackless if Arm 1 were piston.
Yeah, it could be trackless. But, you know, that Arm 1 is cheaper on a track. No notes for this one. But I guess we already know what it does. It just uses a lot of hex arms.
I mean, I don't understand it yet.
It's kind of the
Can we
same.
look at another output orientation?
Yeah, it seems like the
Well,
disassembly
it uses
chambers
the same
are
method.
well, in like a high level, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
The way
can see
that-
the deadline arm, but
Yeah. To me, the way that
deadline
disassembly
arm is
works is the
visible.
most varied. Like, it's usually pretty easy to tell what's happening in the reassembly side, but
Oh, yeah,
Sure,
how
it's
much
just
for
this
inputs
improves the output
outputs?
chamber of Team 42.
Assembly
This
chamber
is
has
a much better
14. This assembly has 16.
Okay, so if Team 42 wins, Team 42s can be dropped by 2 instructions just by using his output chamber exactly.
Mhm. Team 42 scrapes the podium.
This is a really good output chamber, by the way, but the input chamber is so hard for me to follow because it's just so noisy. It's
Storms go
doing
burr.
rotations, but like, when Arm 7 drops on the output.
It reminds
Okay,
me of
I can see it.
one
I
moment.
can see it. I can see it. Arm 7's the output arm, it just speeds it in a strange way.
It reminds me of this shit. I
Or
know
use
I'm
the
increasing
invisible-
instructions. Oh no, it crashes.
Skill issue.
Into the mind.
Please.
It's so noisy. My poor brain, your poor bit rate. XBPGH, alright.
Let me just send it. I have emotes now. Alright, well, there's one more test case we haven't seen. Which one is it? I don't know, I'm a mess.
We all democratically elected you to be our mess. Carry us to victory.
Alright, I'll just show the both of them. They all look so similar.
Yeah, I mean, it's doing a output fit conditional, and arms 7 and 5 spin the input back and forth until it is going to start actually outputting things.
Yeah.
Arm 8 with the wild pivots is just making my brain hurt.
Which one's our mate? So one that's
The one
blocked
that
by this one, right? Interesting stuff. Alright. Next up, in third place, at 27 instructions,
That's me.
it is not Team 42, it is Team Saijondras at 290 gold.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the combination of Saijondras and Biggie can get 25. Because John was talking about how they have a 14 instruction chamber on the output.
Yeah, so 14 output, 13 input.
And yeah, here we see some track loops.
Yeah, Team 42's got 11 plus 16, and this one's got 13 plus 14.
Mm-hmm. 1/10 fee. Yeah. Look at Arm 3 go. So, remember when we talked about how you can get away with shenanigans? Regarding
Free space
3i?
instruction.
Free space, yeah. Arm 3 here is doing that. Arm 6 to an extent as well.
Arm 3 is doing timing based that, but that's for a reason. You wouldn't just shorten that to a 8-length track and then everything works the same. Like there's a distinct reason for it doing that.
Care to explain the distinct reason? The notes
I don't know it.
You don't know it. I assumed yours did the same thing though.
No, it's a different curse thing.
Oh, it's a different curse thing. Okay, I'll see then.
Yeah, ours was either 1/6 or 1/9 P, depending on how you wanted it to work, but 1/6 P was cheaper.
Mm-hmm. John, you want to explain it then? Because you're here, but your notes are empty. I assume they're not gonna. Yeah, I assume they're not gonna join the VC, but might be typing in
It
chat
looks
right
like-
now.
It looks like Arm 2 is the one that does all the reorienting. And I guess the reason it is 1/10 P is just so that there's enough time for it to do all the reorienting it would need to do, because it seems to take 2 tape loops to reorient.
Probably, yeah. Right, I think because it takes
This is a 1/5,
1,
1/2
2,
T.
3,
Yeah,
4,
Ron John mentioned
5,
it's 1/5
6.
T, but it's split in 2.
Ah, okay.
You save a few pivots if you do things 2 parts per atom through the conduit. A few pivots and a few track resets.
And arm 6 is just a deadline arm, but for 5th P, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
It's just a different looking deadline arm. Because it has to work at 1/5.
And arm 5 is the one that's doing the... Arm 5 is doing the slow-mo deadline, where it has to move it twice before arm 5 can push it back.
Yeah. Alright, different test cases.
The input arm actually rearranges one of the cases?
Right, because it keeps on moving. One of them is going to. Let me see. Yeah, this one probably would.
I love that it takes...
It does, yeah.
2...
It does.
Yeah.
This one sends it back down.
Oh yeah.
That's why it's
great.
shaped the way it is.
That's a great
Yeah.
use of the input arm. Wow, we only beat this on cost, and not by much.
So next up, at also 27 instructions, as Biggie has revealed, at 250 cost, Team 42.
So here's our 11 instruction input chamber that I've been so hype about, but
11 and 16, right?
it's 11 and 16. We had an 11 output chamber that only made 2 of the outputs correctly, which would have given us a freaking 22.
Oh, 22.
In fact, we had that a slightly more abusive version of that, like 21. Yeah, we had 21 get 2 out of 3. We submitted the 22 2 out of 3 as a showcase.
Alright, Biggie, you want to read your own notes?
Why not? Sure. From the very beginning, I made a simplifying assumption. Read the molecule clockwise along the bonds. The atoms have to go through the conduit in that order. Left chamber is dedicated to getting the atoms through the conduit in that order, no matter the bonds, and the right chamber is dedicated to reassembling. This converts bond information into timing information. In the speed solve, I had several different drop instructions over the conduit, and the solution was 1p, but I wanted to find a 1/6 p approach, and so I drummed up the right half to support it. It builds a complete bonded triangle, but then depending on when it gets its last atom, it will break a different bond. Then the helper arm spins it into the proper orientation based on the same delay tactic, and then the deadline arm will be the one to do the output. The right chamber was built first, and the left was built to support it, gradually dropping from 17 instructions down to only 11. Once I saw how simple the 11 instruction left chamber was, I doubted the right chamber's performance, but when I tried to build the left chamber but in reverse, it didn't exactly work. So I basically have doubts on the right chamber, and now I know through Fiesta Land Solve that it can be done in 14. But yeah, the way that the left chamber actually works, arm 1 will do delivery of 0, 1, or 2 atoms onto the hex arm after 3 tape loops of delay. The only way it can actually pull off 3 tape loops of delay is by doing a grab before the atom arrives on the debonder. So that's why it has that kind of funky grab, wait, rotate. But the way that works out, after arm 2 breaks off 0, 1, or 2 atoms, those atoms just need to go shoot off to the left 3 tape loops later, and it just works out.
Also, just so you know, Biggie double spaces after sentences, after periods.
Yeah, I've done that since grade school. No one ever told me it was wrong, just less common.
What, putting double spaces?
Period,
Spaces
space,
after
space.
periods.
Yeah, I do that
space.
too. Sometimes
I do.
people make fun of me for it, but I don't understand what.
I've
why
been
they
told
care.
it's less common, but I've never stopped doing it. It's just
Yeah,
too
me
natural.
Does it? Is that the case on Biggie block actually?
Yes.
I never
Although I think
noticed
the
it
formatting
there.
on that actually compresses double spaces.
Yeah, because yeah,
It's Panic's website that keeps it at a monospace font, making it much more obvious.
Yeah. Yeah, AHK is a monospace font, so it's more obvious.
It's just how they used to teach at Zorflex. That you put 2 spaces after a period.
No, there's a single space after each period on the Biggie blog. Huh.
I'm pretty sure that it actually looks different in the editor that I use and when it publishes. I think it probably does text formatting adjustments in the process between them.
Yeah, well, HTML
it
itself
fixes it for you.
removes extra spaces. Like,
Oh,
extra
I
white
see.
space between stuff in HTML doesn't get displayed unless, I mean, depending on this CSS, but by default it's going to get removed.
That makes sense. Is this an American
Yeah,
thing? I don't know. I grew up with single
This
space.
solution, it's funny, if you look at, I think it was Ebenov's right chamber, it was doing exactly this, but with a length 2 hex arm. I think there's an isomorphism. Every arm has the exact same task in this right chamber as in Ebenov's right chamber. It makes the triangle, it debonds one of them, and then it does a few handoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Time for the big reveal. In first place, at 310 gold, and 25 instructions, you have Team Stone out of Jasper.
Jasper is saying that they have an 11 input chamber, but it's different.
Yes, interesting shaped track.
Double match.
This looks like some of the stuff we were iterating with when we were making our speed solve. Oh, that's very different, but I like it. It kind of uses an idea that showed up in... Well, we can't see the rest of the placement, so I forget whose it was, but I think it was the Weekly Gangs. No, it wasn't the Weekly Gangs. That was the one...
Wait, what happened to the placements? What? Weird.
Yeah, I can't see, so I can't remember who was where.
One moment, let me try to fix that. Does F10 work? Did it work? No? Okay. Let me just, F8, F10, F9, F10.
There
Right,
it is.
so far the progress towards... Hey, they're back. So far the progress...
Oh, it went away.
Why did you break it after you fixed it? It's your fault.
Go back to the... Is it back? It should be back now.
It's
Back.
It's
We are
back.
back, as they say.
Yeah, progress based on knowledge sharing, according to John, is that we have 240 gold, 25 I solved as the current 0th place, but there might be better.
Mm-hmm.
Still, Team Mount Jasper managed to pull this off just between the two of them, and that's amazing.
Yeah, and both sides are just really clean ways of doing it.
Is this another 10 track?
It's a 10 track, I counted the
It's
last
10
time I
track,
saw it, yeah. So this is also 1/10th P, funnily enough.
Yeah.
So that's,
I think
instruction counts, it's 11/14, yeah.
Yeah. It's funny that Saijandras and Team Stumla Jasper both had 1/10 P, when it seems not like the most intuitive number to arrive on.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the amount the track length dictated.
And this one doesn't even have any, like, every 2 stuff. Like, the other one had something that was happening, like, every 2, so kind of see why it's a multiple of 2.
This one has 2 arms on the 10 track for some reason.
They're spaced apart by 4, so I don't even know. We have to look at other...
Yeah, other test cases exist.
Yeah.
Wacky. It doesn't even feel like they're, yeah, it does not look like deadline arms. I guess they function similarly, but... They don't look like deadline arms to me. Which
I think it's
direction
just
do I
fixing up.
rotate? Okay, I
Like,
rotated in that
arms
direction.
5 and 7 will rotate the output at the right like they'll be in the right place on the track loop to hit the output that they care about and rotate it into the right orientation.
Mm-hmm. So it's deadline arms in a way, but like
Oh yeah,
wacky
there's
ones.
notes.
There's
Kazian
notes,
says.
right? Because I was trying to fix the thing and the notes disappeared. Okay, our cabinet is completely unrecognizable from the original design. We replace the left chamber, the right chamber, the left chamber again, and the entire logical solution, the track shapes, the bi-arms, and the hex arm, and the cabinet's wood for good measure. They started out with 84 instructions. What did you go from and to? Okay. The pièce de résistance is the pair of the magic arms that assemble all three different products with pivoting help. We at one point had a single magic arm to handle a special case, but it was more efficient to handle 3 special cases. Possible areas of improvement are using a more ambitious track shape, such that a magic arm performs the right chamber pivoting work incidentally, or a similar concept for the left chamber. Right is unlikely since the track and arms are constrained. Left is more viable, but we still could not find a solution, and it will require a right chamber redesign regardless. It's intriguing to revisit these outdated theories of alchemy. Do you remember the days of metal zoo theory, where dozens and dozens of alchemical prime metals were postulated? It's true that there are rare primes such as Uranus's metal, but the zoo was even less plausible than quark theory. Alchemist Kazian and Alchemist Jasper. Yeah, imagine weird and wacky elements such as antimony and tin. No, we already have tin. What else is there? Gallium.
What is
Helium. Plumbum.
Plumbum. I'm pretty sure that's in the game.
It's not called Plumbum in the games.
It's not called Plumbum in the games, but it exists as, you know. What else is there? Silicon. Yes.
Oh, yeah, here I'll put this. This is from the weekly channel in Discord. Kazian posted it for the current.
Oh no, it cuts off on the stream. Plumbum. So flex.
This is pretty magical, honestly. Just looking at how far apart the different outputs are actually created. There's like strange gaps between the 3 cases in the ghost gift.
As I'm being like, yes, I would like beryllium. Give me 6 molecules of scandium. Statements streamed up by the utterly deranged. Lithium
Yeah,
and
one of the-
sodium? What's that?
One of the 3 cases has to go all the way around in the input chamber.
Yeah, let me find this. I think it was the first one. No? Right, yeah, it is the first one. So that is delayed enough? Or...
I mean, I think it's just sort of naturally how it happens.
They're doing, of the 10 available drops, that is 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, and 7, 8, 9.
I see.
1, 2, 3 to 7, 8, 9 is an entire 6 tape loops gap between them. That's 1 full rotation of the hex arm.
Random Yosh says, sounds like a pretty intense space chem puzzle Kazian is describing.
I would like element theta.
I would like... Oh right, space chem has those wacky things as well.
The Greeks.
Twinkle, please. Alright. I think that means it's time for puzzle reveal. We'll leave this running while I load it up.
I have to have my speedful brain set up. I didn't think I would be speed solving, but obviously I will be speed solving.
If you're ready to... Paxton, where's the link? Oh wait, no,
I'll
panic.
drop the link. Hold on. Should I drop it now?
You can drop it in the... Yeah, you can drop it in Weeklies game. Oh, did you drop it elsewhere?
I mean,
Wait,
I'm able to access it, so I'm playing it.
Oh, it's open. Oh, I haven't downloaded it, but...
No, I thought.
No, I don't have the link. It's not
Link.
posted in the Google Doc. It's not posted in the spreadsheet.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So I haven't downloaded it. I guess
This
I
is a
can
pretty
download
basic.
it now.
Oh, it's made by Goodbye Galaxy, so it's like
It's made by Goodbye Galaxy. It's a sum solve and a rate solve.
nice.
No, it's a sum metric and a rate metric. That looks different. Dark matter candidate. Oh,
Metals. We have metals.
we have metals. We're exploring all the wacky and unorthodox alchemical theories this weeklies. Alright, that should be downloaded. I can show it on stream now.
I'm gonna be real with you all. Part of the reason this puzzle has medals is because everyone kept complaining about no medals. So I made the suggestion to Goodbye Galaxy, and to his credit, he liked the idea. So yeah,
No metals.
No metals.
no medals.
We also joked about how we changed the puzzle into an X shape, just like Twitter.
Just like Terminator, not like Twitter.
Gotta have that feng shui. Anyways, yeah, this is the puzzle for week 9? Is it week 9? I think it's week 9. Week 9, Dark Matter Candidate.
We've already done 8 weeks.
We've already done 8 weeks. It lasted longer than some tournaments now.
Yeah.
What's my Discord again? It's OMGITSABIST, OMG, it's a bit same as my Twitch username. I basically have the same username everywhere. But yeah. Welcome to the very large product sum puzzle. And also the other very large product steady area rate puzzle.
Yeah. RA pretty much is the other metric.
Reminder that the tick can show the sum if you press 6. Does it? Huh?
I'm pretty sure that feature didn't work on mine either.
Probably doesn't work with Zoom tool. RIP.
Zoom tool.
Zoom tool moment.
You broke it.
Well.
Society if Forgetsku had the Zoom instead of the Zoom tool.
One day the two mods will be combined. One day. I look forward to it. Why is there no purification? I don't know. If you zoom in until the funny bar showing free floating, it might work. Let's see. There it is. There's the funny bar.
Oh, that's the puzzle you got on stream isn't quite right.
Oh, it isn't?
Oh, what's wrong with it?
Is there supposed to be purification?
There are too many Quicksilvers.
Oh,
in the output?
Wait, that's the one on the... That's the one on the website.
That's a problem. That's the
Okay.
version of the puzzle.
Well...
Somebody read the puzzle wrong. Oh no.
Oh.
What do we
Puzzle
want
hot
to do?
fix moment. We're puzzle hot fixing.
Sorry, people. There are meant to be a couple of salts on the corners.
Really? I have been quick.
Sorry, quick solving people. Sorry, speed solving people. The puzzle is wrong on the website. Oh.
Oh, the puzzle's straight up wrong. Whoa.
Oh,
How did
that was
happen?
my bad. Sorry, I put it in.
Alright.
I literally
where
just
the
finished my
silvers-
speed solve.
So where the silver's attached to quicksilver, imagine those ones are salt instead.
I can't imagine. I am only able to see what's in front of my face, and it has
I
been.
guess I'll fix it then.
Ah!
So do we want to change it then?
Yeah, we
Yes,
have to
that's-
change
yeah.
it. Yes.
That'll
This is the
affect-
wrong puzzle.
That'll affect rate.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. It slipped by everyone in the weekly chat, me included.
I didn't see it because I started streaming.
Yeah, this
New
one
metric.
ended up happening a little bit late.
New metric, dubious output.
Oh no. It's gonna be transtonic, but
Will
define
it-
your own output.
Will it screw things up that I have already submitted a speed solve?
No, it's fine.
Yeah, we'll just delete them later.
Or make it a. No, we'll make it a showcase.
Oh, we'll make it show. Well, it won't work if it's showcase.
But it won't. I mean, it'll just not work.
It'll
I don't
just
know.
not work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, has the
I
link
guess
been
I have to
posted?
try to-
Has the link been posted in the spreadsheet yet? It hasn't.
I don't. I think
It's
the
been
puzzle's
posted in
just
the
completely
weekly
wrong
chat.
in the spreadsheet. Last I checked.
It is, but you know, I like having the link in the spreadsheet because
So which one is supposed to be salt?
the
It's
one's
the one
connected
by
to
the
silver.
Silver. Okay.
Yeah, the one's connected to silver should be salt. Isn't the puzzle just, you know, linked?
Link.
Yeah, it's just linked. It's Paxton sent it on August 5th. Except it was named Metastable Fire, but the output is not correct right now, but the inputs are correct.
Yeah, I have to take the screenshot and do all the things. Hold on.
I can do the screenshot. If we want to use my feng shui instead.
Here, I already got it. Let's see.
Alright. Puzzle hot fixing.
Yes, sorry about this. Should have
It's
double-checked
alright.
it.
It's probably best you don't do that, Yosh. Because then your puzzle file will conflict with the puzzle file that we give you later.
Yeah. Anyways,
Right,
BPM
the
after
solution
solve
has
as
puzzle
a
number and-
showcase.
I mean, you could fix the puzzle file. It'll work.
Oh, well. Okay.
Yeah.
Then.
No
In
triplex?
response to a puzzling recent discovery
Right.
at the Oxbridge Observatory.
Triplex.
Upload the screenshot.
That exists. It's in the sidebar, but I didn't notice it.
Okay, it should be good now.
Oh no, the screenshot is too wide.
Oh, oops. I fix it.
The feng shui is off.
Yeah.
The file and the destination. Press the below F10 key.
This will be a fun speed solve.
Yeah, I
Okay.
kind of messed
I
it
mean,
up
I already
though.
speed solved the old one, so now I just have to adapt my solution in some cursed way. Because you know I'm not going to place new machinery and think again. I already thought.
I'll add notes onto the page, denoting that the
Notes?
puzzle has been changed, in case somebody
Oh.
downloaded and wasn't on stream. So, where do we usually place notes? Here, I think.
You can look at one of the previous ones if you want.
Yeah, but I'm
Alright, I'm pretty sure the puzzle's good now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, next time let's do this a little earlier. And like 10 minutes before the stream.
Alright, that's
Okay, adapting actually kind of sucks. This sucks.
How was your week, chat?
How's it going, everyone? Hi, Zorflax.
Hi, Bess. How's it going? How was
It's
the
been
stream?
going great. It went alright.
Right
How
up
was your
until about
internet?
when I
Did the kangaroos chew on your cables?
Actually, it didn't crash once because I've been having the stream on in the background while I play Quake the whole time, and yeah, no, it didn't crash once. So I
Let me
think my
change
internet is
local
actually
file
good
here
again.
as well. Yeah. Okay, it's changed here on the stream as well, so to cause less confusion, this is the proper puzzle.
Yay!
Hopefully there are no more issues regarding saving over each other while we edit the page.
Or are other people editing it?
Oh,
I
I
mean, I'm not
added the
editing
notes
it.
part, but like I think I did that after
Okay,
you
cool.
finished.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright,
Okay.
now that that's over with, time to get on with our showcase.
Ooh.
Let me try to open that up. Does it work? It should work. There's the 000 solve, which I assume is one that didn't solve. I should drag this over so that I can actually read the notes, if there are any. This one's the biggie solve that, what's the solve, Biggie?
Yeah, hold on. I'm submitting the speed solve. Okay, it's in. I can talk now.
Okay. Oh, it's a 22, but it doesn't work on one of the cases, I assume.
Yeah, this is a 22 that gets 2 out of 3. I eventually made a 21 that gets 2 out of 3, but I never submitted that one as a showcase. But yeah, this one
Yeah.
hits the other 2 cases perfect.
This is the
Using the
working
same
case.
input chamber, an 11i output chamber that just doesn't.
Mhm. This is the other working.
It's trying to basically play it in reverse.
Mhm. And then the showcase.
I
that does
found a
not
way
work.
to get a.
Hmm?
I found a way to get a 29i by adding 8 instruction arm to the 21i. And that would actually work on 3 of 3, but by that point the extra instructions were so many that it passed up the 27 that we already had.
Yeah. So this is the 22 that does 2 out of 3. there's also a 21 that does 2 out of 3. Next up is another solve by 7T Storm, saying modern problems. I wonder what this solve is supposed to show.
Oh, did she say something in her?
And
I think she said something in her notes of the submission that this is a solve that
oh yeah, this
came
is
before the.
Note 1 requires modern solutions. That's the continuation of the title. Note 2, this was my first solve consisting of 1 bonding glyph and 1 debonding glyph. It's going to be alright. I will make my comeback soon, despite everything that happened so far. Right. Next up is 42 Genius 42. With his solve, and this is the first successful solve from Team 42 by Genius 42, I think.
Oh, this is his 88 instruction 16p.
With
It's so busy. I had a hard time figuring out what the heck I was looking at. The triangle track has 3 arms, each one which handles a different input. So those are basically special case instruction arms.
mm-hmm.
This is a solve that makes the 7x7 chamber look like it barely fits.
Yeah. I also like how the conduit is dead center on the left chamber.
Yeah, it's certainly good, and I really liked that there was a 16p solve that we had before I came through the finish of mine.
Mm-hmm. Notes.
Bottom key
Those.
for Robinson.
42 Genius 42 slow soft. 2 days. Christ son of bike and far too many instructions at the moment. Did have something with 42 instructions, but unfortunately that just made chiral inputs of the 3 atoms rather than alternating the bonds, so sadly only worked for 1 test case. Totally outdone by what Team 42, mostly Biggie to be fair, ended up with, which I am optimistically predicting a top 3. I challenged Biggie to try to get it to equal or lower than what I got, or vaguely similar in some aspects. Instructions puzzle last year, Blazing Cathode, where I got 29. Well, we blew past 29.
Yeah, we had a 30 at some point and then got a 27 on the last day. So, yay.
Mm-hmm. Alright, next up in Showcase. Username Void. 1 bonder, 1 debonder, huh? But not 60 gold. This is just a modification of the speed solve, just with 1 bonder, 1 debonder.
Oh, right, because there was a mention at one point in the week of someone misunderstanding the rules and thinking that we were only allowed 1 glyph per chamber because of the way the presentation looked.
Isn't that how it's always shown? You know, just 1 glyph per,
Yeah, I mean, we had a low cost solve.
Even though we have had some people confused, being like, is this how the bonds are supposed to be orientated? How the glyphs are supposed to be orientated when we solve it? We get that question every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, next up, how Jasper area solve. Okay. Yeah, 6 each. And it stays within the footprint.
Yeah, but you need this style of a footprint to be able to fit it, and it isn't a valid chamber size.
It passes back through the conduit. I want to see it when it does if it's other test cases.
You need to store it. This is a really good solve.
Yeah, Hello Jasper is good at this area thing. And this conditional thing. It also has conduit facing. Oh boy.
Remember Pentapig's min cost wheel inversion solve?
That is an amazing solve. Also, welcome to the chat, Zorflap.
Hi, yes.
It's been here for a bit.
I don't remember hearing his voice, but maybe I just was
I think
too
you were busy speed solving.
and forgot
Yeah.
to listen. Yeah.
I
Oh, right,
think you
because
were
he showed up
speed
to talk
solving.
about host things. He had to tell you that the bonding
Which-
or the bonding, the quicksilver.
Which one
was
has
wrong.
conduit
He said
facing? Is
that.
it this one? Oh yeah, conduit facing here. I see it. Alright, next up, cost solve. Just speed, Spiritual Shampoo's cost
I mean,
solve.
spiritual shampoo was 60 and 134.
134? No, this doesn't meet the instructions. If we're comparing instructions. I don't know what we're comparing. There's no secondary written here by Hello Jasper. In terms of
I mean,
cycles,
presuming
it's
that it is
619.
1p, it also would then be higher cycles because the other is 1p at lower instruction count.
Yeah, fair.
Spiritual Shampoo did name his cycles, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah,
You're right.
he did.
He did.
Oh, you know what I never thought to do during the week was a cycle solution for this.
That sounds difficult.
I mean, you get 9 cycles per input. You probably end up getting min and then having a secondary race. Just a question of how do you distinguish the 3 cases in that way?
One question I did have: what did people think about the size of the production chambers for this
It's
week?
the largest possible.
I like that it very rarely got in my way.
Yeah, the point of production, as we talked about on stream, it's not to have the chamber sizes, but to have the conduit. And making sure you can't just make 3i solutions. So having the largest possible size for the chambers, the largest possible size in vanilla for now, made sense. Because it emphasizes the fact that the important part is passing through stuff through the conduit and not production itself. The chambers itself, yeah.
Yeah, true. For the point of this puzzle, I guess the size of the chambers never actually mattered all that much because it was the conduit that was the point.
Yeah, the conduit and isolation, that was the point.
Yeah.
The chamber walls often do get in the way, but, you know, what can we do?
I guess it's worth being generous when it's, you know, computation.
Yeah, we just gave the most generous we could. I mean, we wanted to make it 5x5 chambers, but, you know, this is better.
Yeah, I mean, basically what happened was we were testing it, and both, like, Rebix and I were just like, this is too hard.
Less so too hard, more so too restricting. It's possible. I mean, look at this solve. It obviously fits.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't feel as fun. Like, it felt more like you were solving the puzzle of how do I fit this into the chamber rather than how do I get the instructions.
How does it fit in the chamber is less so of the point of the puzzle.
Yeah. Sometimes there are times where it's worth being restrictive with your chamber sizes, but I don't think this puzzle was one of those times.
Yeah, this puzzle isn't. I mean, like, puzzles where you do where restricting it is like important are such as anchor detector because salt.
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 And others like overloaded because of the inputs.
Yeah, overloaded is a good example.
Yeah, where the actual inputs, the actual chamber sizes are importance to the puzzle, more so than the fact that conduits exist. Dwarven Firewire felt more like a conduit puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
And Emergency
There
Antidote
was
is
something I did
Emergency
want to say about
Antidote.
this puzzle,
Oh, hi, Rebex!
which is I finally back. Originally, it had duplication and calcification. I did not expect anyone to use this, and I don't really see how it would have helped. But had that been there, I don't know. Maybe it would have opened some things up.
Yeah, maybe it would have made for some interesting solves.
Yeah, I could have
Yeah.
put triplets in there.
Could have. That
Oh
would be
boy.
pretty helpful, actually.
Yeah, but that means we actually have to
Yeah.
change the bonds instead of just rotating the input, and I don't feel like doing that.
Yeah, I did want it to be pretty straightforward because
Yeah.
I mean, like first impression of a production, if you can call it computation, variable I/O. But
Yeah. It's the essentials.
right.
It's computation, yeah. Well, anything with variable I/O is considered computation by OM standards, honestly. But yeah, that should be all for the week for this week. Let me open back up the other week again. The new week, week 9. Dark Matter Candidate. This is in case you weren't here during the puzzle reveal earlier, or in case you were here and immediately hopped off and didn't notice that the puzzle has changed. This is Dark Matter Candidate. It's a puzzle by Goodbye Galaxy. It is a sum. The metrics are sum and rate area. Area being area at steady state, so at infinity, not at solve. And in case you left the stream and didn't notice, the original product we had 2 quicksilvers connected to silver. That is wrong. We have since changed it back to it being 2 salts, which is the supposedly correct puzzle that Goodbye Galaxy had sent us. And the glyphs you are given are bonder, debonder, triple bonder, triplex bonder, or tribonder, triplex bonder, calcification, and projection. No purification. And also you get equilibrium, I guess. Yeah. So, yeah, that is the puzzle for the upcoming week. And that would be all for the stream today. So,
Appreciate you hosting this week, Best, by the way.
yeah, it's fine. It was a fun week to host. I hope not that many ads have rolled on the stream. Maybe it decides
Yeah, I
not
haven't
to.
seen any.
Good. Maybe ad blocks work good enough for a lot of y'all. No duplication.
Yeah, my ad blocker still works.
No duplication? Huh. I guess there isn't duplication. Well. Alright. Well, that should be all for the stream today then. So, thank you all for coming, and we'll see you all next week. Probably on Zorflax's stream. Because,
Probably, yeah.
probably.
My
Unless
internet-
its internet shits itself again. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's recovered this week. If, like, for example, if I was hosting this week, it would not have crashed because I've been keeping tabs on it. So, yeah, I think it'll be okay.
Alrighty. Well, we'll see y'all then. Bye!